Guys, today I have got a question for you. So as you can see, we are in the kitchen. And what are the usual things that you do normally in the kitchen? What are the everyday things? Cooking food, washing dishes, and doing a cleanup, right? Now, recently I have faced an issue with washing dishes where I used to have a spoon holder or a cutlery holder which was made up of metal. And while washing the dishes, like once you wash the spoons, you put it in there, and once they're dried up, and then you put it into the drawers, correct? That's how I normally do things in my kitchen. So, when I was doing that, I suddenly noticed that the bottom of the spoon holder or the cutlery holder is getting rusted, and it is affecting all the spoons and knives and everything. And that at that moment, I thought, that's not a good thing. Well, what's the solution? Am I going to buy a new one and face the same issue again? Second is, am I going to buy a new one but expensive one, which will be heavy on your pocket? So now, the third solution was to think of something new, and that's where a thing popped into my head. I was like, why not 3D print something new or something unique and show it to you? So guys, this is a new video. Welcome to the third dimension where the imagination meets reality. So, before we go deep into our topics, I want to shout out to today's sponsors, the AI Rookies. Woo! So, the AI Rookies is a channel about AI, channel about motivation, channel about entertainment. It's my and Maddie's channel. So, if you want to watch something entertaining, something related to AI and all those things, want to have some motivation, so make sure you subscribe to that channel. We are on TikTok, we are on Instagram, and we are on YouTube. And this is the gift that Maddie gave me to doing all the hard work. So guys, if you want to show your support to the third dimension and to AI Rookies, make sure you subscribe to our social media channels. And now, let's get back to the main topic. So to do this project, we followed 3 steps. First one was requirements. What are the requirements? Second one is making the design according to those requirements. And third one is to 3D print that design. So let's jump onto the first requirement. To take care of the requirements, there were only 3 requirements for me. First one is I need to have a cheap spoon holder which can do the job. I don't need an expensive one. I don't want to spend $50 on just a spoon holder or a cutlery holder. I want a simple design, simple thing which is not heavy to my pocket. Right? Second one, it shouldn't get any rust. So the metal was not an option. I was not thinking of doing or buying any metal thing again because the experience was bad. So I was like, okay, for the second requirement, it has to be plastic. Third one is it should hold big or small any type of cutlery, right? So once you know all those requirements that you want, the second step will be designing. So now, on the second step, it's about the design. Once you have finalized all of your requirements, the design should be simple. You have to take some of the measurements where you are measuring your small spoon and the big spoon and make the design changes according to those. So that's the same thing that I did with my design. First, I started with the box and then make it a shell, and then I wanted to make it a little bit deep from the inside so that the water can flow into the middle, and then I will make some holes in the middle at the later stage where the water will drop through, right? So, and I'm a fan of hex, so that's why I make my design with the hex feature, lot of hex. First was to make the outside boundary, and then in the middle I extruded the walls and then make the hex pattern copied onto those walls as well. And then it was just about nitty and gritty final touches. here and there, a little bit of extrude, a little bit of cut to make the aesthetics looks really good. Because I knew that I will be making it out of a black filament, so that's why in black, if it's in a certain light, you will see all the imperfections. That's why I spent so much time in making a perfect looking model. And for the bowl, I used only 3 mm thick bowl. You can probably go more, maybe 4 or 5, but I think 3 would do the job, right? And now we are on to the final step, which is 3D printing. To do the 3D printing, you only need the filament option according to your requirements, right? So once you know what type of filament you want to use, it should be okay if it's getting wet, right? Second thing, the sunlight may come there at some point, so it should be a little bit of heat resistance. The third thing, it should have a good aesthetic look. So what did I use? I used a normal PLA. And guys, I know I should have used PETG, but for me it was like, okay, let me do an experiment with PLA and let's see how it works. So I put this model to the Bambu lab, adjust some settings, make some wall ticks and everything, and then after that I started printing it out on my Bambu lab P1S printer. And so far it's been doing a great job. I have this printer for 2 years now. It's been doing a great job. I do maintenance on it every once a month, and it is still a good machine. I'm planning to upgrade it, probably buy an H2S, but not at this stage, right? So once I put the design through, I started printing it with my Bambu Lab P1S, and then it was a done deal, and I think it took probably 5 to 6 hours, and the design was ready. And after that, you will see how the design looks. And guys, once the design was ready, what did I do? Then I bought some cheap Temu rubber feet and stick it at the bottom of the utensil holder, and then it was a done deal. Look at that. The design is looking so good, the aesthetic is looking so good, and I have it in person and I'm using every day, and here it is. So the biggest spoon I had was this much, and everything else can fit in there. So the design that I had in mind is to put the big spoon on the big section, and if you have something small like this tiny fork, you can put it in there. And here is the final product. Look at that, guys. Isn't that amazing? So this is the power of 3D printing, that you just have to think something unique, something practical, and if you have the right filaments, you can print it at home. You don't have to buy anything. Yes, you have to buy a filament and you have to buy the machine, but that's an investment, right? As you invested in a house, as you invested in your skills, learning skills, it's the same thing. Once you invested in all those things, and you don't even need that PA carbon fiber or that G carbon fiber, those sort of expensive materials. You can start with the normal materials, buy some probably PETG, PLA, and one spool of probably TBU, and you can design anything you want. So guys, how was the video? Please tell me in the comment section. Make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe to all my channels, and make sure you click on the bell icon so that you don't miss any future video. So, see you in the next video. Sayonara.